Hello, my friends. Dorothy here. We're going to get started and we're going to talk about next week's forecast, which includes August 14th through the 20th. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about next week too, because there's just a couple of things that are really showing up at the end of this week. And my glasses are really dirty. I'll do that while I'm talking. And I also want to talk about Sunday. I'm posting this on August 11th and I'm recording it on August 11th. I just post it and record usually the same day. And I want to talk about the Venus and the Sun, Venus and the Sun. So let's share the screen and welcome to all of you who are new here. There's a few of you. And here we are. This is what we're going to talk about. Let me pop up that chart right there. And there it is. So let's get started. And I want to talk about this just because there's always more to say. There's always a lot to say. And more information hopefully just opens that heart center so we're able to just get more and just really be more in alignment with what's going on in the sky, right? Because that's what we're interested in. We're interested in astrology. We're interested in following the cycles and the patterns. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, right? So what I wanted to talk about here is, here's the Venus. It's called the Venus star point. She does this every 19 months. It's just not exact, but it's real close to 19 months when Venus and the Sun are conjunct while Venus is retrograde. So between this posting, which again, I'll post it just a couple days ahead of time. But so between now that I'm recording on August 11th and when we get to August 13th, it's at 7:16 a.m. Eastern time when the Sun and Venus are conjunct. So Venus begins a new cycle that will last 19 months. Not 19 years, no, 19 months. And while she moves through a zodiac sign, when she's not retrograde, she moves through a sign like with, 3 or 4 weeks at the most. The big theme with the Venus star point is, again, where she's making that connection to the Sun, because the last connection 18 months ago when she was retrograde, it was 19 months ago, it was in Capricorn. And now it's over here. It's 150 degrees away typically. So it's about making adjustments, but it's also, the last time was in Capricorn, and this time it's over here in Leo. And then later, the next one will be 150 degrees away from that. And then the next one will be 150 degrees away from that. And then the next one will be 150 degrees away from that, somewhere over in here. So what it creates when Venus does that, and that whole cycle takes 8 years, it creates the 5-star. Here, I'll just draw it out. It creates a 5-pointed star, which is beautiful. So Venus star point, all of that, just a brief minor education about what that is. So I want us to pay attention to how we're feeling when we get to this point. This is Sunday in the morning, Eastern time, early in the morning, if you're further west of the East Coast. And it just gives you this opportunity. The Venus in Leo cycle for the next 19 months is absolutely about where am I creative? What am I passionate about? We get to open up the heart, right? And really hone in on what our heart's desires are. And that's what the new moon's going to be like too. So it's really close to the new moon. And I've already done that forecast. So if you missed it, go seek it out. It's on your page. If you're at the level that you're at, it's absolutely, you get the new moon, the full moon, and this weekly forecast. The only thing you're missing is the month ahead, which that's the tier above you. And if you're not in it, it's $25 instead of $11, and you get everything and the month ahead, like way ahead. We've already done it. I usually do it the first week of every month for the next astrological month. Okay. I don't do it for August, September, October. I do it for Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, that kind of stuff. All right. So I want you just to, the reason I'm bringing this up right here is because honing in and focusing in on what a heart desires is really important right now. And we're ending this cycle. So the day of forecast, this posting again, August 11th, August 12th. Venus is at the very, very end of her last couple of days in that last cycle, which started with Capricorn ages ago. And so now, which is about feeling safe and secure, as especially as for those of us who identify as female, and feminine, and us feeling very safe and secure, and really trying to hone in on that. That is done. You've done what you can there. And now we're going into our heart's desire, and that's what the Venus star point in Leo represents. All right. Okay. And that is on Sunday. There isn't anything astrological going on Monday that I really want to speak to. I mean, there's lots of Venus trines Chiron, and I don't have that in. Isn't that funny, huh? Let's put the display point in here. I didn't have Venus in here. I don't have Chiron in here today, so I'm going to put that in. It wasn't part of the weekly forecast. I missed that. Venus quincunx Chiron. That's not an easy aspect. Let's hit redraw. And there she is. And it's not a quincunx. It is a trine aspect. It's a trine. So what we have going on with Venus, where is it? I'm making a mistake here. There it is. Yeah, Venus trine Chiron. It's an applying aspect because it's not exact today. That's why. It's exact around 11. That's why I'm having a little bit of confusion here. So when these two are making their connection, and that's what happened here. Let's just go ahead one more day. There it is. It's just because I was too far ahead. Here's where they're exact. This gives us, it's happening at the star point, right? Just a degree away from the star point when Venus makes that trine connection to Chiron. And to me, I find there's a fire trine. So that means we have an opportunity to take some action, but it has to be, it's internalized first, because both of these planets, asteroid, planet, are retrograde. So there's an internal process that needs to happen first. All right. So clearing the deck there. Now we're also in the balsamic lunar phase because the new moon isn't until the 16th. And you can tell because look, the moon is moving. The moon moves that way. The planets move through that way as the earth spins. I know there's two different directions going on here. And you can see the moon is in the balsamic lunar phase. It's in the balsamic lunar phase all of Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, most of Sunday, but all of Monday and all of Tuesday and part of Wednesday until the moon is new. And the moon is new at 5:38 a.m. on Wednesday, August 16th. But before that, we're also in the balsamic lunar phase. While Venus and the sun are in their conjunction, and the beginning of a new Venus star point, a Venus retrograde. She's going within. She's deciding what is working for her, what isn't working for her. We're processing inward. And again, that trine over to Chiron while the moon is balsamic is like, this is a deep opportunity for some important healing. So if you're drawn to doing that, go ahead and do it. Not everybody will be aware of this is happening, or that's the right word, aware or conscious that this is what is available and this is what's happening. If you pay attention, you'll notice it. So if you find that this weekend, you just want to be alone, you just want to do your own thing, or you just want to go into a retreat of some kind, or whatever it is for you over this weekend, right? Again, I'm putting this up on the 11th. So anytime from, Saturday, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, those are opportunities for quiet, private, internalizing, helping yourself to heal, understanding the process that you want and you need to heal with, right? That's what you get to do over these next few days. So August 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, because we're in the waning lunar phase along with all the other things that are going on. We also have, if you look over down here, this is called the aspectarian grid. And it's just, I read a grid, what planet across, one planet up and down. It's a grid. You can tell how planets are interacting with each other. And on Tuesday and Wednesday, is Tuesday the 15th. The sun is making an exact square over there to Uranus. And Uranus is very, very busy this week. The only planet not interacting this week with Uranus is Saturn. The only planet not interacting with Uranus is Saturn. Everybody else, some way, somehow, Uranus and the other planets are all interacting with each other, with Uranus, okay? That means there are opportunities for a lot of unexpected events to happen, right? That's what Uranus represents. I'm going to go to the new moon in Leo, and I'm going to continue on my explanation. So with the sun squaring Uranus, and then what is the time frame that the moon does that? The moon will square Uranus at 5:04 on the 16th, and the sun squares Uranus on this date. You can see here on the 16th at, on the 15th at 10:35 p.m. So the afternoon, evening of the 15th and into the early morning hours of the 16th, the sun and the moon will make their 90-degree, their square to Uranus. Again, the full forecast for the new moon is already here on your Patreon page, your wall. You will get the email every time. If you don't, go to your spam filter and let them know it's not spam. And or just go on to YouTube. Let's see if I can share that with you. I'll go to my YouTube channel. There's my website. It's coming up. There's my website. But go to my YouTube channel. Here it is, Dorothy Morgan Astrologer videos. And there it is, okay? The new moon in Leo. It's been up a couple days. And you can watch that over there, okay? If you can't find it in your Patreon folder. All right. Sun square Uranus, impulsive. It can create, we want to get out of our regular routine. And we have the moon doing the same thing. So this new moon is only 17 minutes off of the square to Uranus. This is amazing because Uranus has been involved in an awful lot of eclipses over the last 18 months, as well as a few of the other lunar events, but mainly the eclipses. This is not an eclipse, but this is a beautiful new moon that is still connected to Uranus. And both of these energies are fixed. So we have the Leo energy right there with Venus as well. Here on the East Coast, it's right at the ascendant because it's sunrise. And again, it's more of the same. It's more of connecting to the ego drive, connecting so we can feel confident, that kind of ego drive. I'm not saying you have to be egotistical, but really getting into that ego drive where you can feel confident and it's taking one of those risky steps. It feels risky to you, but it doesn't have to be. It's about, in a sense, I mean, I don't like to push hard against things, but sometimes we have to take that. We have to step out of our comfort zone to do something different and to feel that we're making a difference or making taking a risk. And I want you to do that. Leo is risk taking. And we've got 3 planets in Leo. This is the new moon in Leo, super fiery, squaring Uranus. It's feisty, it's creative. I'm reading my notes, see if I have anything else I want to give you for keywords. Feisty and creative and passionate. And Uranus says, could we please stop doing the same thing? And it wants us to stop doing the same thing. And I want you to stop doing the same thing because what isn't working is becoming very apparent to a lot of people. And I see it all over the place. People are like, oh, it's Mercury retrograde because stuff isn't working out. Being sarcastic when I say that, I know. I am going to have a video up a little while about Mercury retrograde. I always do a collaboration with a numerologist friend of mine. So that'll be just over on YouTube. But we have this going on here. You know, Pluto at the end of Capricorn, it's retrograding. He's not going to go much further than this. He won't change directions for another month. Actually, I can't remember when he does change directions, but he's not going much further than that degree. Yeah, he changes in October, 1 more degree, half a degree more here. And he's at the end of Capricorn, which means nothing, if something isn't working anymore, something isn't sustainable anymore, you are becoming very aware of it. And it feels like the whole world is crumbling and you're not sure where to begin, new and fresh. And that makes a lot of sense. We're not sure where to begin. where to start fresh. It is very, very difficult, because if you haven't cleared up the things that Pluto has been asking us to clear up for quite some time now. He took a little dip into Aquarius, but that didn't do much. What really matters is that for the last almost a year now, he's been at the final couple degrees of Capricorn. And in my opinion, that is like, I cannot continue to sustain this process, or I really need to let go of something that hasn't worked for me for a very, very long time, and I need to let it go. And when we let go as humans, we want to release things, right? We want to release, we want to let go, but we're afraid of the change. This new moon is the change. At least at this point in time, the change is the new moon in Leo, giving us that opportunity to be more creative, more self-expressive, making that square aspect to Uranus. I know squares create tension and stress because we don't like change. And let's move, let's do it. Find something. But the thing is, take a risky step, whatever's risky to you, right? Like just putting a video out. It might only get 10 views. Who cares? You've made a step forward in a place you're uncomfortable. Uranus wants us to get out of a place that we're too comfortable in. And that Pluto at the end of Capricorn is saying, this, what you've been doing isn't sustainable anymore. Not everything, by the way. Not everything isn't sustainable, but some things in your life aren't sustainable anymore. Can you keep it up? Is it worth keeping it up? I ask myself those questions all the time to make the decisions on what I'm doing. It's all business decisions because, it's so interwound into my life. My business life is my personal life is my business life because it's just what I do. I get Capricorn stuff. So we have an opportunity with Venus, the new Venus star point, to begin something that we're passionate about. The square over here to Uranus creates that, gives us an opportunity to take a risk somewhere. And there is a grand trine in Earth going on here too. Pluto is at the higher number. And that is, again, about what isn't sustainable and how can I let go of some of those things and start creating something else. That's what that new moon in Leo is about. That's what the square to Uranus is about. That's what Venus star point is all about. And then we have other planets going on. And when we get to the new moon, here's that new moon. It's just, again, in Leo, so we can create goals and write something down that is more astounding than just way out of your comfort zone. Just write it down. Just be bizarre. Reach for it. Reach for the stars. Same day as the new moon, just a couple of hours later, and this is just before 10 a.m. Eastern, and this is Mars making that exact trine. It's not an exact trine to there you are. It's to Uranus. I was thinking it was to Pluto. My mistake. I was just getting lost in my own words. Here's Mars trine Uranus. And and then we still have that grand trine in Earth. So Mars trine Uranus, I just was talking about it, even though I didn't mention that I was, but these guys, it's like, this wants us to get out of our routine. This gives us the insight to get out of our routine. Mars in Virgo, it's been in Virgo for a few weeks now. But Mars in Virgo, Mercury's going to come through. Mercury's going to come through too, but he'll retrograde soon. But Mars trine Uranus, Mars in Virgo is like taking action, but how can I make a new routine, right? That's what we're looking at. Finding our insight. And that's when, especially when the sun gets into Virgo, we'll have a lot of planets in Virgo at that point in time, Mercury retrograde at that point in time. And we have a lot of insight into how can I take action? That's Mars in Virgo in regard to things that I do every day. It's like getting back into daily cycles, daily routines, insight, better healthy habits. And then with that trine to Uranus, it's just saying, here's an opportunity once again to do something different, to get out of our comfort zone, to feel inspired. All while Pluto is saying this is not sustainable anymore. What are you going to do? How are you going to change? Okay, that's what we got going on. That's a busy week. right? So the balsamic lunar phase on Monday and Tuesday until we get to that new moon is as well. Remember, inner work, private, quiet. It's not easy. It's my first couple of days back to work. I haven't really gone anywhere. I did not go anywhere. I would take 2 days here and there. It's Friday the 11th. I'm not supposed to be back to work till Tuesday, which I will be. I have clients on Monday and Tuesday. Just the way it goes. Whoopee, right? All right, let me keep going here. Let me keep going. Thursday the 17th and Friday the 18th. Let me grab my ephemeris here. We always use the Llewellyn book. And if you don't know how to use this, you just get one of these, get one for every year. The next year is out, I think, already. I'm ready to buy mine. It has the planetary aspects in here, and you can see them. And that's what I use to create these forecasts. And then I see other stuff that's important to me that isn't in the book, and we talk about that too. And the reason there's nothing going on, I would say nothing going on specifically on the 17th and the 18th, is you can just look at these lunar look at the calendars and see that there's no planetary aspects, even though there's all kinds of stuff going on here, because what you and I talk about are just exact aspects when they're absolutely exact between the planets. The lunar stuff is mainly just the new moon, the first quarter, full moon, and the last quarter. That's what we usually talk about, or the eclipses. So on the 17th, the moon is now in Virgo, as well as on the 18th. And yeah, what that represents is, again, it gives us that opportunity to hone in. Let me animate this chart and get to those dates. Let me go ahead a couple of minutes. Here we go. Here's the moon in Virgo. It's still in the new moon phase because it's less than 45 degrees from the sun. And so as the moon moves through the sign of Virgo, all the way from 7:14 p.m. on Wednesday the 16th, it's still a new moon, and it's still in the new moon phase until we get to the 19th when it shifts to crescent. That represents, again, the moon in Virgo, honing in on the details. That seems to be my favorite word this week, honing in, meaning if we repeat something, we get to really distill that information and bring it in to something very, very specific. That's the moon in Virgo. All right. It'll connect with Mercury on Friday. It'll trine Uranus on Friday. It'll conjunct Mars on Friday, which represents an opportunity for more information to come through. That's Friday. Yeah. Pretty awesome. Let's go back to the last view, the last image I had up, and here we are. Let's go on to Sunday. Now this, and I'll talk a little bit about this next week as well, because what we have going on here is a yod. So what I want to do, so you can actually see what I'm talking about, is I'm going to take out a bunch of the planets. I'm going to take a ton of stuff out. We'll even take the sun and the moon and Mercury and Venus. Who else? I want just the sun, Neptune, and Pluto. All right. The sun. Let's put that sun back in there. Do. There it is. All right. Select. There we go. That looks funny over there, doesn't it? So this is what I don't even need Uranus in here, but it's in there anyways. Let's get him out, because I really just want you to see the point of what I got going on here. And this is a yod. All those other things are happening inside. A yod is when we have 150 degrees and then a sextile. And you can see a couple are exact, and then some are just, the other one is just the separating aspect. So what do we have here? This is quite interesting, and this is what we have going on today. And let's draw this one up, and let me hit redraw, ready, set, go. There's the yod on Monday, the 21st, and it's a different time of day, so the sun's in a different position. And here's the one on Sunday, the 20th. So the 20th and the 21st. And the reason we have two different dates is because this is the day on the 20th. The sun is exactly quincunx Neptune. On the 21st, the sun is exactly quincunx Pluto. So what do we do with here? And then then Pluto and Neptune are sextile. That creates the yod. All right. Important here. A couple of years ago, we had an eclipse at 28 Leo. I think that was on the Great American Eclipse. So we could even hone in on that too, but not today. Here with the yod is about, especially with the apex being Leo, the sun in Leo, creative, expressive, what is important for us. How can we, just like the Venus things I was just talking about earlier. I mean, what is important for us? How are we able to express ourselves creatively, passionately? We really want to do that. We want to be able to figure out how to do that. But the thing is, we have to trust our intuition. That's the quincunx to Neptune. Trust our intuition, trust how we're being creative, and again, allow that change to happen. That's the sun, quincunx, Pluto. And again, that Pluto at the end of Capricorn is like, what isn't working is we absolutely need to make sure that we let that go. We have to do an overhaul. Even if you need to do, it's like a rebranding. And when we rebrand as a business, if you will, you don't keep going forward in the same direction. You actually have to pivot a little bit. And then you will still have things from prior life, from before, and you will bring those things forward into what is next, into the new life, if you will, what's moving forward. This is, to me, how we work with yods. We focus on what's on the apex, and that's the sun in Leo at the very end of Leo. That at those last 10 degrees of Leo, besides being ruled by the sun in its own rulership, the co-ruler of that by decan is Mars. So that means we have a lot. Mars is in Virgo. So if you and I are to pay attention to the details around us and make the adjustments that are needed, all right, in the things that you want to be passionate and creative about, pay attention to your intuition. That's the Neptune in Pisces in its own sign. And then trust the process. That's Pluto in Capricorn. Trust the process and make the adjustments on a regular basis through these couple of days. When this is going on, this is what we have to work with. And it goes on just for a couple of days, right? So we're feeling it for a couple of days. But let me tell you, I wished I'd written it in, but maybe I did. Let me double check. Because I know Venus will come through here one more time when she's done being retrograde. Let's see. Nope, I don't have it in there. So what we'll do is, let's just go see. I'll just use my ephemeris. You guys, I hope you know how to use an ephemeris. I've taught that in the class before too. All right. So when Venus gets back, after she's done her retrograde on September 3rd, she'll be done her retrograde. And then when she gets to 28 degrees, which will be October 7th, okay? So on October 7th, Venus will come to this point. So today meaning August 20 and 21, all of those things I just said, go ahead and rewind if you need to do that. And then when we get to that date in October, I already forgot, hold on, October 7th. So we're going to say the 6th, the 7th, right, is when Venus will come through and reactivate that by reminding you of what you think you've committed to over next weekend, over that time frame on next Sunday, Monday, the 20th and the 21st. This is a wonderful opportunity to because at that point too, we're in a waxing lunar phase, so that would be even more helpful. All right. That's a lot. I am looking forward to this because let me tell you, as things move along in life, we always have to leave things behind because we outgrow them and it's just not sustainable anymore. So ask yourself personally what that looks like for you. I know there's lots and lots of things that would draw an awful lot of attention if I started talking about politics and stuff like that, but I'm not interested in doing that because I want us one-on-one. I'm a Gemini. I want us to, not that I don't care, because I do care about those things on my own level, in my own head. But I want you to pay attention to these things for your own life, right? Because that's where I'm coming from. And so hopefully that's why you're here too. All right, guys. Blessings. Yeah, I was thinking, is there anything last second that messages coming through? And it's not. All right. Blessings, everybody. And absolutely. Yeah. Namaste. Namaste.